It was a pie and mash shop. And he went, oh, there's the old pie and mash shop there. And I went, right. He goes, yeah, I love it in there, delicious pies. And I went in there the other day and I tried to get the recipe for their pies. I said, oh, really? He goes, yeah, because as well as being a taxi driver, I'm also a successful restaurateur. Which, of course, ladies and gentlemen, was a lie. And I went, and did you get the recipe? He goes, no, I didn't get it. No, they wouldn't give it to me. They said it was a family secret. I said, that's a shame. He goes, it is a shame, because they're delicious, their pies. And he said, the strangest thing I've ever heard. Try and get your head around this. He went, yeah, it is a pity, because it's not just pie they put in those, you know. I went, I'm sorry, mate. Because it's not just pie they put in those. I went, what? In pies? He goes, yeah. I said, pie's not an ingredient, mate. He went, what? I said, pie's made up of constituent parts that have been brought together. It's not an ingredient. He goes, what are you talking about? A pie's the pie. I said, is it? Because Jamie Oliver's show's going to be a bit shit from now on, aren't they? He goes, what do you mean? I said, I'll show you. Hello, everyone. I'm Jamie Oliver. Today, I'll be making a lasagna. I'll just get the ingredients. A lasagna! He goes, oh yeah, very clever, son, but a lasagna is not a pie. I said, it may as well be using your system. What are you going to do if you get a flat tyre on your taxi? He goes, I'll change the tyre. I said, you can't, because tyre is part of taxi, so you must throw taxi away! He goes, I don't know what you were talking about. I said, do you honestly not? I said, all right, I'll help you. He goes, well, I'd like you to explain it to me. I said, all right, we'll do a role play. He went, okay, let's do a role play. This happened, right? I went, right, I'm a cake shop owner. He goes, okay, you're a cake shop owner. I went, right, you're coming in to buy a cake. He said, I'll have a cake, please. I said, hang on a minute. You've got a fatal nut allergy. He went, fine. I went, right, let's go. This happened. He was in the front of the cab. I went, good morning, sir. I went, good morning. I said, can I help you? He goes, I'd like a cake, please. I said, certainly, sir, I have several cakes. Which cake would you like? And this is when he went up in my estimation a bit, because he genuinely did this. He went, I'll have that one there. Amazing, right? And that's where I pulled out my ace card. I went, excellent choice. The nut surprise. He went, hold up a minute, I'm not allowed to have nuts. And I said, oh dear, have you got an allergy? I better check the ingredients for you, hadn't I? No, you're absolutely fine, sir. The only thing in this cake is cake! He said, I can see nuts on it there, right? I said, no, I baked this, and the only ingredient I used was cake, so put it in your big fat face and swell up like a balloon and die. And he goes, oh yeah, very good, but at the end of the day, a lasagna is not a pie, a cake is not a pie, a taxi is not a pie. I said, there's no such thing as pie! A pie is made up of meat, of gravy, of pastry, and one other thing. He said, what's the other thing? I said, I'm not telling you, it's a family secret.